to Deep Sleep Stories. Thank you to everyone who's been listening. If these stories help you relax or fall asleep, a short review, comment, or sharing the podcast with someone who might benefit is a simple and meaningful way to support the show so that we may continue to offer it for free. Now, take a slow, gentle breath and let's begin tonight's story.
Hello, and welcome to Deep Sleep Stories. You have chosen this quiet corner of the night to drift off into a realm of gentle dreams. In just a few moments, you'll be invited into the soft patter of rain-soaked streets, hushed by the swirling mists of Prague. There, hidden among ancient cobblestones and under warm, glowing lights, you'll discover a collection of enchanted lanterns that carry secrets of calm and mystery. For now, settle in. Let the day's tensions melt away as you breathe in, slowly and deeply, and exhale any lingering concerns. Inhale once more, drawing in the promise of rest, and exhale all the busyness of your mind. Feel your body sink a little deeper into your bed, cradled by the comfort of pillows. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Notice the rise and fall of your chest, and with each breath, give yourself permission to be still. You are here, in this moment, ready to embrace the relaxation you deserve. Continue taking those gentle, unhurried breaths. Let your shoulders soften, your jaw release, and your eyelids grow heavier. As you listen, imagine a soothing rain outside your window, each drop a lullaby in the night. Picture soft lights glowing in the distance, beckoning you forward. The story ahead will unfold slowly, like a song played on a quiet violin, or a whisper passed through centuries. Allow your imagination to awaken just enough to guide you along, then gently slip into rest. You can let go, for soon you will be carried to Prague, a realm of old world charm, hidden corners, and magical lanterns that flicker through the hush of the rain. You can let yourself wander there, carefree and safe, knowing each moment of this tale is woven to bring you closer to deep, healing sleep. Long ago, or perhaps not so long at all, a gentle traveller arrived in the old town of Prague under the soft hush of twilight rain. He had come in search of curiosities, but found the city itself to be one large tapestry of wonder. The tall spires and winding alleys welcomed him like a familiar embrace, and the sweet scent of damp cobblestones rose to greet his senses. In a city famous for its Gothic towers, grand bridges, and swirling legends, the traveller felt a hint of enchantment guiding his every step. With the drizzle washing away the clamour of daytime, his quiet footfalls echoed through the near-empty streets, leading him deeper into the heart of Prague's mysterious beauty. He carried little with him beyond a small leather satchel, just large enough for a journal and a few mementos from journeys past. In the light of evening, lanterns flickered along narrow alleyways, casting their warm glow onto the stones. Those lamplights seemed alive, dancing with reflections from puddles that shimmered with every drop of rain. There was comfort in that orange and gold radiance, as if invisible hands held candles behind antique glass, waiting to greet a newcomer. The traveller walked slowly, entranced by how the lamps illuminated centuries-old facades and half-hidden arches. Tiny rivulets of water streamed from overhead gutters, weaving patterns in the lantern light. Even the raindrops seemed to sparkle, gently tapping on centuries of history. As night deepened, the traveller found himself in a small, quiet square lined with old, decorated buildings. A single street performer stood under a wide awning, playing a violin with a haunting melodic tune. The sounds drifted effortlessly through the drizzle, each note a gentle invitation to linger. The traveller paused, transfixed, letting the music wash through him like the reflection of the city's lights across the wet stones. There were no crowds to jostle him, no hurry in his step, only the comfort of violin strings, the subtle hush of rainfall, and the soft glow of lanterns guiding him onward. Past the violin player and through a modest archway, the traveller emerged onto another winding lane. At the corner, near a half-timbered building, a sign bearing the symbol of a lantern swayed gently. Something about it called to him. Perhaps it was the ornately painted lantern on the sign, or maybe the faint glow from within the building's windows. With soft curiosity, he stepped closer. Through rippled glass, amber light flickered, a warm oasis in the cool damp of night. This was no ordinary shop, though. A hush blanketed its entryway, suggesting a hidden world of wonders within. Gently pushing open the centuries-old door, he stepped into a space that felt both timeless and full of stories. Shelves rose from floor to ceiling, each lined with ornate lanterns of all shapes and sizes, some slender and tall, others squat and round, each with a distinct colour or pattern etched into the glass or metal. A single chandelier hung overhead, its soft candles illuminating a small wooden counter at the far end, where an older man stood polishing a curved glass panel with utmost care. The man looked up with a kind smile, wrinkles forming at the corners of his eyes. It was a look of welcome, as though he'd been expecting the traveller all along. The soft glow within the shop revealed intricately crafted lanterns that seemed older than the building itself. Some formed from coloured glass, reminiscent of medieval stained glass windows. Others featured delicate metal filigree swirling across their surfaces like climbing vines. The traveller felt a gentle awe settle over him, as if these objects carried memories or even secrets from ages past. The shopkeeper, whose hands were skillful and precise, bowed his head in a small greeting. He beckoned the visitor further inside with a gesture that suggested there was no rush, that this was a place for lingering, for exploring the layers of quiet magic that flickered in each lantern's flame. Softly, the traveller introduced himself, and the shopkeeper nodded. As the conversation began, the older man explained that each lantern had its own legend. Some were said to light the way for weary explorers seeking solace in the night. Others were rumoured to bring clarity to those lost in thought or heart. Still more were said to house a tiny spark of old Prague's spirit, glowing with an otherworldly radiance when the hour grew late and the mind grew calm. The traveller listened, fascinated, while distant thunder rolled over the city's rooftops. The patter of rain continued outside, yet within the shop the air felt protected from the restless world. The shopkeeper turned to an elegant glass case and removed a lantern that seemed to shimmer with an opalescent sheen. Its metal edges curled like ivy leaves, and the glass itself appeared to hold flecks of moonlight. The old man explained that legend called this the Lantern of Distant Dreams. Those who let its glow fill their quiet moments might receive glimpses of the possibilities lying ahead, calming the anxious heart and inviting restful reflection on the day's events. More a symbolic gift than a guarantee, he cautioned. But many who once owned it spoke of soothing dreams and a renewed sense of wonder in everyday life. With careful, reverent hands, the shopkeeper placed the lantern in the traveller's grasp. Immediately, the traveller sensed a subtle warmth. The flame flickered inside without any visible wick or oil source, just a glow, as if conjured from the depths of some hidden realm. He could almost see swirling patterns in the glass, cosmic blues merging with lavender twilights and flecks of silver. Leaning in, he felt his mind grow still, enveloped by the soft luminosity. Reverence filled the air as the traveller thanked the shopkeeper. He turned to survey the rest of the shop and was quietly amazed at the variety of lanterns. Some glowed faintly turquoise, reminiscent of water and gentle breezes. Others bore carvings of night skies, with star motifs shining like tiny crystals. A hush so profound lay over them that each lantern seemed imbued with its own silent story. For a moment, the traveller forgot the rain outside and immersed himself in the comforting hush of this realm. Time slowed to a near standstill. Eventually, he returned the lantern of distant dreams to the shopkeeper, who wrapped it carefully in a cloth. The older man tapped a slender finger on the small clasp that held the lantern's panels together. There was no need for negotiation or haggling. The shopkeeper simply said, "It's yours if you choose it, though perhaps it has chosen you first." The traveller felt gratitude stirring within him, as though a dear friend had offered a precious gift. Outside, the city remained under the hush of drizzle. The traveller stepped into the night with the lantern in his satchel, the shopkeeper's gentle smile lingering in his memory. The rain pitter-pattered on the rooftops, and each lantern that lined the street seemed to bow in greeting. Mysterious shadows danced across the walls, cast by the flickering lights, as if whispering stories of centuries gone by. It was a rare and magical world, perfectly suited for reflection and calm. Footfalls carried him back through winding corridors, past an old clock tower chiming softly to mark the hour. The traveller let his mind wander, allowing the city's gentle energies to lull him deeper into a realm of tranquility. He walked to the famous Charles Bridge, which stretched across the dark waters of the Vltava River. Beneath the stone arches, the river shimmered with reflections of lanterns overhead. Statues of saints and ancient heroes stood as silent guardians in the rain, watching over passers-by with serene gazes. The traveller paused at the midpoint of the bridge, letting the wind comb through his hair. With the lantern of distant dreams tucked away, he felt a new sense of perspective, as if the city's history pulsed in every raindrop. The caretaker of time itself seemed to whisper, "Here is a place to rest, to breathe, to feel at home in the stillness of the world." A mild fog drifted across the river, wrapping the spires and rooftops in a faint blur that rendered the city almost ethereal. The traveller noticed how the lampposts along the bridge flickered, lending the scene a dreamy, ghost-like glow. The faint music of an accordion wafted from somewhere near the bridge tower, adding a soft layer to the city's nightly lullaby. With each step forward, the traveller's thoughts grew calmer, less cluttered, as if the hush of Prague's night air absorbed every lingering worry. Crossing the bridge, he ventured into the lesser town, where narrow lanes curved gently beneath arches and carved doorways. The architecture felt cozy and close, with each building painted in pale yellows, rose pinks, and gentle greens. Small lanterns above the doors cast warm spots of light upon the wet cobblestones. Even the soft dripping of water from the eaves seemed in harmony with the faint rustle of footsteps and the subdued glow of hidden courtyards. One courtyard beckoned him inward. It was enclosed by tall, ivy-covered walls, its centre occupied by an old fountain in the shape of a lion's head, gently spouting water into a mossy basin. Lanterns hung from wrought iron brackets, their flames reflected upon the fountain's surface in lazy undulations. The traveller set his satchel on a low stone bench and carefully withdrew the lantern he had acquired. The glass shimmered under the courtyard's lights, blending seamlessly with the softly swaying lanterns above. He lit a small candle inside, noticing how the glow merged with the strange, perpetual luminescence already contained there. Instantly, the courtyard seemed to soften, as though the lantern's presence amplified the gentle magic of the place. In that moment, the traveller heard a voice, tranquil and melodic, drifting across the courtyard. It was a woman, her silhouette framed by a doorway beneath climbing vines. She wore a light shawl, her hair pulled into a loose bun. She spoke kindly, perhaps sensing a kindred spirit. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" she remarked, her gaze drifting to the lantern. The traveller nodded, noticing a peaceful glow in her eyes that mirrored the enchantment of the city itself. The two shared a simple exchange about Prague, about the hush of rainy nights that made the old streets feel alive with possibilities. She mentioned that the courtyard was known for its hushed gatherings of dreamers, those who found comfort in the city's storied corners and the warmth of its lanterns. "Sometimes," she said, "in the quiet hours, one could almost hear a collective sigh of contentment, rising from the centuries of history that had shaped these walls. Each archway, each hidden nook, felt like a cradle for people seeking solace." Though their conversation was brief, it lingered in the traveller's heart as a gentle reminder that every place has its moments of magic, some hidden in plain sight, others revealed through small acts of curiosity. When the woman bid him good night, he felt a sense of gratitude for the city and for the soft, kind presence of strangers who seemed more like old friends. He closed his eyes for a moment, letting the gentle patter of the rain and the glow of the lantern soothe his spirit. The fountain's murmur mingled with the lingering hush of twilight. All felt serene, calm, and timeless. Eventually, gathering his lantern and his thoughts, the traveller continued on. The journey led him toward a modest inn with a small hanging sign that displayed a lion and a crown. A single lantern flickered by the entrance, beckoning him inside. He found the interior warmly lit, with wooden beams overhead and a quietly crackling fireplace on one side. A friendly innkeeper welcomed him, offered a room, and showed him upstairs to a cozy chamber overlooking a narrow canal. Raindrops tapped gently at the window, as if to say, "Here is a sanctuary. Rest here and dream." Entering the room, the traveller felt the same comforting stillness that he'd experienced throughout Prague's night. He set the lantern of distant dreams upon a wooden bedside table. Its gentle glow flickered in harmony with the subtle dance of the fireplace downstairs. Rain glided along the window glass, reflecting the lantern's light in slender, shimmering lines. The traveller laid down, eyes heavy with the allure of rest, lulled by the hushed world of moonlit rooftops and the lingering resonance of the city's unseen wonders. In sleep, the traveller dreamed of drifting through centuries, seeing Prague shift and transform, yet always anchored in its sense of mystery and quiet enchantment. He dreamed of distant spires illuminated by the faint glow of enchanted lanterns, each holding a fragment of the city's soul. He saw gentle raindrops turning to silver threads in the lamplight, weaving across the cobblestones and guiding him back to that hidden shop, where the kindly old man smiled in greeting. The dream felt both ephemeral and vividly real, a tapestry spun by the hush of the city's ancient heart. When morning arrived, it brought a soft grey sky, still tinged with the promise of drizzle. The traveller rose, feeling rested as though he had slept for days. He tucked the lantern carefully into his satchel, grateful for the calm it had bestowed. Looking out the window, he watched the city awaken. Bakeries opened their doors, sending the scent of fresh bread into the misty air. Shopkeepers swept the thresholds of their establishments. Church bells rang, their slow chimes drifting across the rooftops, and the traveller felt a gentle stirring of curiosity. What new wonders would the day hold? With renewed energy, he set out to explore, crossing the old stone bridges again, passing beneath archways that echoed his steps. The city during the day held a bustling charm, but the traveller remembered with a quiet smile how in the previous night's rain-laden hush, Prague had revealed a side of itself that was soothing, mystical, and deeply healing. He carried that memory with him through crowded squares and bustling markets, hearing the faint echo of violin music that seemed to follow him wherever he went. Yet, as the day wore on, he found himself reminiscing about the shop where he had first encountered the lantern. Determined to thank the shopkeeper once more, he retraced his path to that winding lane with the half-timbered building and the sign bearing the painted lantern. The street was busy now with midday visitors, and the door he had opened so gently was closed. The sign was there, yes, but the windows were dark. No flicker of candlelight shimmered through the rippled glass. A passerby noticed his confusion and shrugged. "I've never known that shop to be open, to be honest," they said, before continuing on their way. Feeling a gentle flicker of wonder, the traveller pressed his hand to the window. Dust motes danced in the sunlight, but the interior appeared vacant, as though no shopkeeper, no lantern-filled shelves had ever been there. A faint shiver crawled through the traveller, not of fear, but of mystery. He realized that perhaps the enchantment he had discovered was a gift of the night, revealed only to those who wander in a peaceful search for rest and reflection. The traveller stepped back, noticing how bright the day had become, and how different the street now appeared without the haze of twilight and the hush of falling rain. Yet he felt no sorrow. He had, after all, the lantern of distant dreams to remind him of that fleeting encounter. He looked into his satchel, and there it was, shimmering softly even in daylight. He smiled, feeling a subtle reassurance that the experiences of the night were not a mere dream. Somehow, the city had woven its magic into his journey, leaving him with a memory that would forever whisper of Prague's secret corners. As dusk returned that day, the traveller found a quiet spot in one of the city's historical gardens. Beneath a broad chestnut tree. The sky wore a veil of twilight clouds again, promising more rain. Lanterns began flickering on along the garden paths, throwing gentle arcs of light over the foliage. With the soft rumble of distant thunder, raindrops tapped onto leaves, forming a lullaby that reminded him of the previous night. He held the lantern before him and let its glow mingle with the garden lights. In that moment, he felt connected to something larger, a tapestry of centuries, of stories whispered by travelers and dreamers who once roamed these same paths in gentle wonder. Minutes passed like hours in the tranquil hush, with the patter of rainfall weaving its soothing music around him. He found himself drifting, half awake and half in a reverie, feeling the city's pulse beneath his feet and in the cool air around him. Thoughts of tomorrow or the next day faded. Only this serene moment mattered. The traveller inhaled the damp, earthy scent of the garden and exhaled slowly. The lantern's glow flickered in harmony with his heartbeat. Eventually, the traveller rose from the bench beneath the chestnut tree and made his way through the twilight garden, stepping carefully on the slick stone path. Each step felt deliberate, as though guided by the same gentle spirit he had first encountered under the city's rainy veil. Mists gathered around the lanterns along the path, creating halos of light that shimmered in time with the quiet drizzle. In those swirls of light, the traveller imagined glimpses of old Prague, ancient legends, playful ghosts, timeless guardians of memory. He sensed he was not alone, that the city itself walked beside him, cradling him in a lullaby of softly whispered echoes. And now, dear one, the night grows quieter still, and the hush of gentle dreams calls you home. Let your breath slow, let your limbs sink deeper into warmth. There is no hurry, only the tender invitation of rest. As your eyelids grow heavy, you might see faint images of lanterns and rain-kissed streets, conjured by your own gentle imagination. They beckon you to find a place of ease within, to let thoughts float away, like leaves carried on a calm stream. In this softer place, the glow of a lantern might flicker at the edge of your mind, reminding you of safety, quiet wonder, and the promise of sleep. So breathe in once more, filling your lungs with calm. Breathe out, letting go of anything that lingers from the day. Your body knows the rhythm of rest. Trust it to cradle you into peaceful slumber. Feel the heaviness in your arms, your legs, your eyelids. Imagine the gentle patter of raindrops on ancient roofs, lulling you into a sense of timelessness. Allow the memory of Prague's lamplit alleys to wrap you in a cocoon of comfort. It is enough to be here, in this moment, letting each breath guide you closer to the threshold of dreams. With each soft exhalation, you drift further from the waking world and nearer to the realm where your thoughts can finally rest. In that realm, you are safe, surrounded by the faint echoes of music, of friendly voices in hidden courtyards, of distant bells in misty spires. Let all those soothing images blur into the soft darkness behind your eyes, carrying you gently into a deep, restorative sleep. Good night, dear traveller. Sleep well. May the lantern's glow guide you toward gentle dreams, and may the hush of Prague's rain-soaked streets bring you comfort all through the night.